all people want to do is play their old favorites when it comes to mobile games, as it appears like most new games are bad or riddled with ads. And while unfortunately that second part is true, good mobile games still release and they get nowhere near as much love and recognition as they deserve. Over the past few weeks, I kept an eye out for new games releasing, not only from well-known creators like Bart Bonte or a new Jetpack Joyride game, but a bunch of other stuff I bet you've never even heard of. From simple puzzle games to whatever the hell is going on here. Not only to prove to you all that good games still release every week, but also to give you some brand new games to try, support, and fall in love with. And we'll throw each game on this leaderboard as we go to see which of these new games are the best. Without further ado, let's check out some hot new bangers on the App Store and watch your jaw slam onto the damn floor. Like I said, a new Jetpack Joyride game was supposed to release, and that won't come out until mid-November, and I'm working on this video in early October. But the show must go on, so here's some footage from Leak Hunter Official on this new game. It looks pretty fun, although this really didn't need to be Jetpack Joyride themed. You could place any characters in these vehicles and it wouldn't feel any different. The gameplay seems like a 3D version of a game I love called Data Wing. In that game, when you drift along the edge of the track, it gives you a speed boost, and it's the same idea here. Except of course, there are other racers on the track to compete against. You seem to actually be playing against real people, or at least I hope you are, as most games these days just give you that illusion, but you're just racing against computer players. Anyways, while this is a very different spin-off of Jetpack Joyride's original gameplay, it looks pretty fun. I really love the gameplay idea, and I'll have to try it for myself when it fully releases. As for our leaderboard, well, it's the first game, so I guess it's gonna be the game to beat then. Single-player pool is such a chill experience, and that's what coffee pool is all about. I think the idea is maybe to play around with your morning coffee or something, not sure about the name, but in each level you have a unique goal. Maybe you're playing under the normal rule set, maybe you're trying to get all the balls in only one pocket, or maybe you have to score the gold ball in just a single shot. There's a lot of interesting different requirements for the game, and each round you have a limited amount of shots to achieve it. You're not competing against anyone, you're not under a time limit, just a chill-ass puzzle game following the basic rules of billiards. I played it for quite a while, I love little games like this, and I'd love to see if the levels ever get super challenging. I would love a hard boat in this game. Coffee pool is really great, and I personally think it tops Jetpack Joyride Racing. Let's see if our next game can do the same. Apparently, Bart Bonte just released his newest mobile game. If you're unfamiliar, he made Sugar Sugar, an internet classic, or the Color series of puzzle games. I'm a huge fan, and even if I wasn't making this video, I'd be playing this new game right now. Anyways, if you're also a fan, you will definitely enjoy this one too. It's almost structured like an escape game, when in reality, you're just getting your character ready for the day. You get dressed, use the bathroom, walk down the stairs, every step in your day is played out through these puzzles. A lot of them are very similar to ideas from his Color series, especially the main gimmick, completing patterns on the carpets or paintings. I don't want to spoil the best puzzles, save for the end of course, and requiring you to backtrack through the house to complete, but I hope these little snippets of me beating them with zero hints helps entice you to try the game yourself. It's a short half-hour experience, but I thought it was super neat, and he tried this new art style that looks way different compared to the typical games he makes. Might not be for everyone, but I thought it was awesome, and just like that we have another game at the top. It's gonna be really awkward now for the first game that fails to surpass it. It sure as hell ain't gonna be Egg Goes Right though. This is exactly my kind of game. Don't worry, I know we've had a lot of short puzzle games here, we've got a lot more variation coming up in a second. Anyways, the title says it all. You gotta make this egg go right. By tapping the screen, you can shift the movable platforms in order to get it to the next level. If you fail at any point, you're sent back to the previous level so you can make it all the way to the end and then fail over and over and lose all your progress. It's incredibly simple, a lot of levels basically just acting as a mini pinball screen. But I was instantly hooked to waste the rest of my night playing it. But sadly, after level 20, you beat the game, and that's the end. It is very, very short, but I guess it could be fun to try to speedrun. The best part, there are no ads. Same with Leaving Home, by the way. The only ads there if you need a hint, so I've just played 2 modern mobile games back to back without seeing a single ad. I can promise you right now that will never happen again, but that is truly a gift. Egg Goes Right is my favorite game we played, and I'm gonna apologize in advance for all the incredibly complex games that'll get beaten by the Egg game with 20 freaking levels. I have never played a Cat Quest game, but the third one just released this year, so what better time to give it a shot? and I can already tell from the quality of this intro cutscene that this game is leagues better than the rest of their games today. I mean, the full game costs $20, this is just straight up a real game they're allowing me to play on my phone. Just look at the gorgeous art style here. It's a 2D world, almost like a pirate map, with all the important landmarks and characters popping up from the terrain. You play as a little cat, so far just fighting these pirates until you come across freaking Biggie Cheese in the flesh.
So there you have it. Biggie Cheese started off as a minor character from a computer animated film and has turned into one of the greatest rap gods of our generation, who sometimes participates in strange sexual encounters.
He's pretty easy to avoid, but still an awesome boss fight freaking minutes into the game. From there we steal a ship, free to fight other ships on the open sea or explore any island you want. I decided to try taking out a little mini-boss before moving forward, nearly dying from my own ineptitude, but I survived and got the treasure. We also meet the Pirate King, but more importantly, Mama Melka. This is the best freaking game ever made, dude. Before I go ahead and play this incredible game from start to finish, I've just discovered a series of Cat Quest games that I can enjoy. This is like freaking Christmas. I have a hard time imagining any game is going to beat this one, which is a little unfair considering it does cost $20, but hopefully we can still find a variety of other games that are almost just as good. In one of my Hidden Gems videos, I played a game called Shadow Trick, and now its creator just released Dino Quake, and I shortly got obsessed playing it. The gameplay is like a more fleshed out version of the old arcade Mario Bros game. You can send a Dino Quake through the platform to knock out enemies, then push them forward to hopefully take out even more. You can pick up power-ups and boosts and even take on a unique boss in each theme. There's about a dozen levels here and you can choose the path you want to take to reach the final boss. I kept getting through 4 stages before dying over and over until finally I made it to the final boss and then died. This is a tough game and I've yet to master it, but I want to. The game costs $3 up front, but it is worth it. I cannot believe high quality games are still released this way, but here it is. A wonderful game that I'm going to continue to play for a while now. Please go try it, I really loved it. It cannot beat out Cat Quest, but it is my second favorite game so far. I really feel like that one TikTok kid eating the cookies right now.
Don't. You little shit!
I'm gonna be honest, I was not confident about the games I chose for this video. I really did just randomly look through the new releases and pick out the ones with nice art styles. But man, these have been oops all bangers so far. This video is an absolute goldmine. Yet another simple puzzle game is Pup Champs. You play as these adorable little dogs learning to play soccer. Each one has a specific movement option for scoring goals. The first one can hit the ball over a single space, while the next dog is much stronger, and the third dog can hit the ball straight from any distance. Using their combined movement to score goals leads to some really good puzzle levels. The game is smart, it is incredibly well stylized with a freaking story and everything, and it seems as though new mechanics will be sprinkled in to add to the difficulty as we go. It's a paid game after the first 30 levels, which is a generous gift. That's a lot of free content. This feels like such a classic idea for a mobile game with a modern, clean, and cute art style on top of it. It is my third favorite game here so far, and I freaking loved playing it. That's how good the games have been today. It's a little hard to explain the point of the game Pine Hearts. It's kind of like an exploration-based adventure game, focusing on your journey to the top of a mountain. It seems like it's a pretty big game too. I spent quite a while wandering around the forest and there still were a bunch of paths I'd never even got to take. It's got a cute art style, sort of cel-shaded it appears, and I think the story and characters are more important in your journey than any gameplay element. It's a playable story, and as you discover memories, you visit a fun world in your journal to capture your initial journey up the mountain with your dad. I can tell you right now, this just isn't really my kind of game, but I think those of you who would like this can probably tell from the gameplay here. Once more, you get a free trial before paying for the full experience, so definitely give it a try if it seems appealing to you. I think it's cute, has a lot of great stylistic choices, but just isn't very exciting gameplay-wise. I'll put it above Jetpack Joyride Racing. I think it's got enough charm to not take last place among our games so far. The game I have the least hope for from our list is Disney Magic Match 3D. For me, as I'm working on this, the game just came out days ago, and I haven't seen Disney make a worthwhile mobile game in years. This one is a Match 3 game, but with objects piled onto the floor. At first I didn't really get the challenge or appeal to this game, but obviously the further you go, the more objects they throw in there, and the challenging levels have a lot of similar looking objects to mess you up. There's room for error, so it's never overly difficult, at least for the first handful of levels, but I guess I can see how it could get tough. You also don't need to get everything, like the gems in this level aren't required. And every 5 levels is a specific Disney theme, like the Beauty and the Beast ball for example. I think for what this game is, they've honestly done the best job they could. The animations are really nice, the Disney objects have some fun callbacks, and using different themes helps the game feel more diverse, but to compare this to any of the games we've played yet, I think it's safe to say it just can't compete. No hate to anyone who likes these kinds of games, I just can't consider them better than any of the games we've covered. In the past year, I played some Katamari games for the first time, and they're pretty fun. So when I saw one was releasing on mobile, it piqued my interest. Just how does the control scheme of Katamari even translate to touchscreen? As suspected, it's a little different, with new buttons to simplify movement, but otherwise the joysticks are pretty similar to the console controls. And since I played the other games on my Switch, man, the graphics here look really nice. I can see the King's footsies in 4K, bro! What an honor! The whole gimmick is we're getting into streaming, I guess? So you have like fans chatting while you play, but as far as the main gameplay goes, that stuff isn't really important. This just feels like a continuation of the Katamari series in every other way, with new levels, presents, and cousins defined in each level, and now 3 stars to earn within each stage. Rather than just reaching the goal, now you have an ultimate score to achieve. The only 3 stars I got was on a timed one, which is usually what I do the worst at. Anyways, yes, I regret to inform you this only exists on Apple Arcade. But my hope is after a bit of time passes, this will just go onto Steam and Switch and everything else. I've seen plenty of arcade titles do the same, and this is a great Katamari game from what I can tell, so I hope more people get the opportunity to play it. But since it doesn't really evolve the series in any way, I don't find myself enjoying it any more than the other games, therefore not going too high on our current leaderboard, but definitely still above average. Game is Hard is one of those meta puzzle games we've seen so much of. Very similar to Bart Bonte style or the game Black Box. You can solve these levels by moving your phone around or finding the hidden solutions within the puzzle. An impossible puzzle sometimes just requires you to try shaking your phone a little bit. The game knows the real-time IRL and forces me to embarrassingly put in my time I'm recording this. Oh, you want to know if that's AM or PM? Yeah, what do you think? Of course it's AM! I've played so many games like this that a new one really needs to stand out in some way. The game looks nice, but not that special. Maybe these ones that use the microphone are the most fun, but otherwise the puzzles are fine, but nothing I haven't seen before. Like this brightness one is in every iteration of this type of game to ever exist. And they want to know my IRL time again, dude? The best part was when I got an ad for this cool new Disney Magic Match 3D game. I'd love to play that. In all seriousness, there's nothing wrong with this one, it's just short and a bit unoriginal. Second to last it goes. I've never played a game quite like Preserve. It's sort of like a biome simulator or creator, where the game will give you resources to fill in the land. You can choose what goes where, including the animals to live in each biome. The bigger the area, the more space there is for more animals, or you can create a bunch of smaller biomes with just a single animal in each. The graphics aren't the greatest, it translates well enough when playing, but doesn't come across super great for you guys watching. Here's my finished biome though. It wasn't perfectly efficient, but it got the job done. Once you finish the first area, you can pay to get other locations like an underwater one or even a Jurassic Park. I think this is a very neat idea, and I especially love that you are rewarded for doing well by getting more land spaces as you go, rather than just starting with all the resources and all the land you'll ever get. I thought that was a smart way to do it, and it made me enjoy the game more. But this is certainly not for me, and it was fun to try, but I'm perfectly content after that, so sadly it's gonna go pretty low on my list. I've seen a couple of these interactive novel games on the App Store now, and they always intrigue me. I think this is one of the better ones I've seen, thanks to the illustrations. At the end of the first chapter, there's an entire intro filled with really wonderful drawings, and it's even voice acted. It definitely got me interested in the stories to come. As for the gameplay, you read a page of the story, and as you go, you can collect items for your inventory. Each bold word you can interact with to further the story, and at some parts you may need to use an item, or play a QuickTime event of sorts, or even solve a puzzle. I'm sure things get more complex as you go, but like always, this is a free trial game and you can pay to play the rest. Now, I'm illiterate, so it's a miracle I even reached the end of the first chapter, but if you actually like reading, I think this is a pretty great idea for a game, and they've already set up a lot of mysteries right off the bat. I'll put it somewhat in the middle of the leaderboard. You ever wish you could play Pong, but with your mouth? Then you're gonna love Tong. I don't really get this game. You can't lose by missing, but you only score points by licking the ball. which is a skull because I'm playing in October. You can either play against a computer player or go online, even against your friends. I got onto one match where I was destroying until they rage quit, and then I struggled to find anyone else online to play against. The only nice thing I can say about it is I never had to watch any ads. But after a single round, I was pretty much content to never think about this game ever again. There's just not enough here to make me care. Fighting against people online could be fun, maybe a ranked mode, but I kinda doubt there's enough Tong players out there for an online mode to even work. Unfortunately, Tong is definitely the weakest game we've played today. If you love the Dadish games, then I have great news. Its creator just released Dunkadillo. All of their games have a ton of charm, and this one is no exception. Clearly inspired by Sonic locations, this game features an armadillo, who's also a basketball. You don't get to stop dribbling as you move, but you can double jump in the air. Other than that, the levels are very similar to Dadish. Just some platforming fun with new mechanics sprinkled in and occasional keys and collectibles to find. I love these little trading cards, they're very cute. The game can be a little frustrating at times simply because Dunkadillo is a strange character to control. Obviously, it takes some getting used to before you're a pro. I made it past the boss fight, defeated it no problem, and even played through a bit of the second world too. I think I probably like the style and gameplay a little less than Dadish, but it is a really fun new idea, and the whole game is free too. If you don't want annoying ads, just play in offline mode by the way. Dunkadillo is definitely a great game though, and it's gotta be above average on the leaderboard. I think Ted Tumblewords might have been exclusive to Netflix before, but just fully released on its own. It's a daily word puzzle game, challenging you to spell as many words or as big of a word as you can with a small assortment of letters. There's various modes too. In the first one, you get 6 words, so try to make as big of a high score as you can. Or there's Peak, trying to get as many points as you can with as many words as you can think of. And finally, you can fight an AI or go up against your friends, which seems to be the main gameplay type. There's a ton of categories you can choose from, so I chose video games, but those words don't seem all that video gamey. The freaking computer player put in Dong, so explain that one, buddy. I've tried quite a few word games in my day, and this certainly isn't one of my favorites. But the presentation is nice, and the game modes are fine enough. Not too exciting compared to the rest of our games though. Chants of Sennaar is a very cool game and certainly very unique looking. The frame rate struggled quite a bit unfortunately, although that could be my outdated phone's fault. The whole game is based around learning a language really. Through context clues you can decipher the written language seen throughout the world, even through dialogue from the other characters. And once you can figure out the meanings, your journal will open up and you can translate them. I love that it lets you put what you think the word might be in its place. That way you won't forget when it comes to solving these words. But what I want to know, why is Jake Miller's cool a question? Anyways, a game about learning a fake language by interacting with its world is an awesome idea that, as always, you have to pay for the full experience. I would guess as you play you start as a commoner and slowly work your way through the class system until you're a god, but I certainly can't say for sure. I'm really interested in this one, so I might buy the full thing, we shall see. Chants of Sennaar is awesome though, and it's going to be in my top 5 games. Our final new mobile game to cover is Kingdom Rush Battles. Considering I've never played a single Kingdom Rush game, starting with a PvP game is probably a bad idea, but maybe this will inspire me to see what the rest of the series is like. It's a pretty standard tower defense game, with the towers having dedicated places you can build them, and a few deployable minions you can send out on the battlefield. I always thought all the characters and enemies looked so small, but now that I'm playing, I really like how tiny everything is. I can also zoom way in for the video, and now it isn't a problem at all. Anyways, hopefully you're not confused because I'm the bottom player and there's some rando I'm fighting above me. Always a bottom, even in freaking Kingdom Rush. For winning battles, you can earn currency for leveling up and unlocking new towers, and if you do well enough, you can rank up, which means entering an entire new battle zone. I actually really like that, making the maps more difficult the better you get. I only got to the 2nd ranking while I played, but I never lost a match, so take that. I pretty much just always sent golems to my enemies and then just overwhelmed them while I stayed cool as a cucumber. I had a lot of fun and I could definitely get into playing more of this, but there's a lot of stuff to unlock and upgrade and I certainly don't have the time in my life to dedicate myself to this game. I really enjoyed this as my first Kingdom Rush game, and I think I'd put it just below Chants of Sennaar, a top 6 game for sure. I think we've proven without a shadow of a doubt that good games still get made on mobile. These are just some of the good games that came out in the past few months, and I'm sure there's even more that slipped through the cracks. Not everything is a masterpiece or a hidden gem, but I think we found some genuinely good games today, and a lot of them felt like classic mobile games to me. Not focused on being a live service game or heavily monetized, there were a lot of short, sweet experiences you could play for free. I also see a ton of games go for the free-to-try method, which is probably the best option of them all. You can try a game and decide if you love it or never play it again. It's your call. And I'm glad to see that model is still going strong in 2025. So let's focus on the good games that came out these days. There's always going to be mobile game slop, but if you know where to look, you can really find some diamonds in the rough. Thank you for watching, and let me know if you have a favorite new mobile game, something from this list, or maybe something you've discovered yourself. I'm always looking for new games to try, so I'd love to hear about it. Also, I'm curious, should I make videos like this a regular thing? Should I start collecting cool new mobile games and make a video on them when I have enough to cover? Or I could go backwards, covering the best games of 2024, then 2023, then so on and so forth. I think both ideas could be fun, but I'm curious what you all think. I don't mention this much, but I do have a Patreon and YouTube membership if you'd like to support the channel. On Patreon, you can even see my videos early, and members get shoutouts, so thank you to Patrick Barjan, Keep, Jeb the Legend, Cheaper Ying, Test Monkey, Callum Ford, Persky Banana, Checky, Timor, Koronov, Aaron the Ghoul, Freakish Smile, Gemina, Lewis, Brightstreak, Dante, MGR Damadan, Einar Jar, Jonathan Biscoff, F. Berg Ukar, OK, Sleepy Boy 74, A-Train, Gall Guy, Green Man Yeah, Skibbity, Alice Wilson, McCrazy, and Labatane.
And the beauty thief? Please don't steal my beauty, that's all I have left.
Now I should make a video on the worst games of 2025, huh? I bet it'd be way easier to find a bunch of bad games to cover. Heck, I could just look at what Voodoo or Ketchup are up to right now, and I'd probably have enough games for the last couple months for a video. If I was Jim Miller, that's the type of content I'd be making.